Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting of the Public Service Commission. Before we begin, I'd like to ask everyone to please bow your head for a moment of silent reflection. Amen. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Minges.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. For our first order of business, staff proposes that our next commission business meeting be held at the call of the chair.
Thank you. It may be Wednesday, but we may also go Tuesday. We've got lots of stuff to get done next week, and we may need to do it a little bit earlier. So just want to put everybody on to be watching for that. We may be a day early. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Minges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one item on a supplemental agenda, docket number 2019-281S. This is the appointment of a hearing officer.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Belser.
Thank you. I move that the commission appoint David Butler as hearing officer in this docket.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belser's motion. Are there questions or comments? And also, this first roll call vote will serve as our roll call for the commissioner, since I neglected to do that. So, Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belser.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, item number one on our utilities agenda, docket number 2020-145C. This item concerns a resale forbearance amendment to the master resale agreement.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton, get close to your mic, Commissioner Hamilton. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the resale forbearance amendment to the master resale agreement between Spectre Trail Incorporated and United Telephone Company of the Carolinas, LLC. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Belser.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number two, docket number 2018-61G. This is Amendment 3 to the agreement for transportation service with firm gas standby.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Howard.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the Amendment 3 to the agreement for transportation services with firm gas standby between Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated and SC Pet Food Solutions, LLC. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton, I couldn't hear you.
Aye.
Okay, I barely heard you say aye. Commissioner Belser.
Aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Everybody remember to speak up really loud, because we're having a little bit of technical problem here. We can't hear you commissioners very well at all. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item number 3, docket number 2019-281S. This matter concerns recent motions that have been filed in the docket.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Irvin.
currently pending before the commission are three motions. First, a motion by ORS seeking to file witness Daniel P. Hunnell II's testimony and exhibits under seal. Also, a motion by PUI to strike portions of the pre-filed direct testimony and exhibits of Charles E. Loy, Daniel P. Hunnell II, and Christina L. Seal, and for the imposition of sanctions. And three, the motion by PUI to dismiss the petition to intervene of Lisa Levine or alternatively to strike Ms. Levine's briefs and preclude her from testifying. We'll take these motions separately. First, with regard to the motion filed by ORS, I move that we grant the request for ORS to file witness Daniel P. Hunnell's second's unredacted testimony and exhibits under seal, and that ORS make that filing by noon on Thursday, June the 18th. As to the second motion, I move that we hold in abeyance PUI's motion to strike portions of the pre-filed direct testimony exhibits of ORS witness Loy, Hunnell, and Seal, and the accompanying request for sanctions. We will rule on those matters once the materials contained in the pre-filed testimony of ORS witnesses, which should have been received confidential treatment, and whether sanctions are warranted after reviewing the unredacted materials submitted by ORS. And finally, with regard to PUI's motion to strike Ms. Levine's pre-hearing briefs and preclude her from testifying, I move that we deny the company's motion to strike the pre-hearing briefs, and that we allow Ms. Levine to testify as to matters of which she has personal knowledge and present evidence that she has gathered in the course of discovery. She may present her pre-hearing brief in lieu of pre-filed testimony, but as is the case with all testimony presented by any party, it will be presented subject to any objections as to admissibility. Ms. Levine will also be permitted to present an opening statement and a closing argument, and to cross-examine witnesses like any other parties. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Irvin. You've heard Commissioner Irvin's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belser.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, item number 4, docket number 2019-184E. This matter concerns a response date concerning mitigation protocols.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Belser.
Dominion Energy has filed its proposed mitigation protocols on June the 1st, 2020. These mitigation protocols may reduce the variable integration charge and embedded integration charge incurred by certain solar projects on Dominion's system. I move that the Commission set July 6, 2020 as the date by which parties may submit comments on Dominion's proposed mitigation protocols.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belser's motion. Are there questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Irvin.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Irvin.
For the record, please note for the record that I have recused in this docket. I will not be voting.
Well, the record will show that Commissioner Irvin is recused from this docket. Thank you. Okay, so we'll call the vote. Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belser.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 5, docket number 2020-144E. Duke Energy Progress has filed a petition for an accounting order related to the Asheville Combined Cycle Generating Plant.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Whitfield, and speak up, Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, Duke Energy Progress requests an accounting order authorizing it to defer certain post-in-service costs in a regulatory asset account that are being incurred in connection with the 560 megawatt Asheville Combined Cycle Station. The Asheville Combined Cycle Station is part of the company's Western Carolinas Modernization Project. Specifically, the costs Duke is seeking to defer are the generating station's cost of capital, depreciation expense, property taxes, incremental operations and maintenance expenses net of operations and maintenance savings, and carrying costs at the weighted average cost of capital
consistent with prior treatment of new generation. The utility estimates that the total deferred cost will be $8.2 million. Duke also states that these expenses are not reflected in existing base rates. And while this request will not involve a change to any of the company's retail rates or prices at this time, it plans to submit these unrecovered incremental costs as a component of electric rates in its next rate case filing. The Office of Regulatory Staff has reviewed this matter and does not object to Duke's request. ORS states its position is predicated on the basis that the issuance of an accounting order in this matter will not preclude ORS, the Commission, or any other party from addressing the reasonableness and prudency of these costs, as well as determining if carrying costs should be included on all or part of the deferral in a subsequent general rate case or other proceeding. Mr. Chairman, further, ORS states that it reserves the right to review this matter in a full subsequent general rate case or other proceeding, and Duke has no objective right, entitlement, or guarantee to recovery of the cost or return included in the regulatory asset account. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I move that the Commission grant the request for an accounting order deferring the post-in-service costs being incurred by the Asheville Combined Cycle Station as specified in Duke Energy Progress petition. This approval does not affect the right of any party to address the reasonableness and prudency of deferred costs in Duke Energy Progress's next general rate proceeding or any other proceeding. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments? Hearing none. Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belser.
Aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that completes our utilities agenda. Turning to our transportation agenda, item number 1, docket number 2020-150T. We have an application for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the application of Checkmate Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate of public conveyance and necessity for operation of the motor vehicle. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Belser.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, item number 2, docket numbers 1994-354T and 2020-117T. We have requests to expand the scope of operating authority and to waive the placarding requirements of Regulation 103-153.1.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Howard, and speak up, Commissioner Howard. It's hard to hear you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we grant the request of Silver and Gold Senior Transportation, LLC, to amend their Class C, that's Charter Certificate number 95110, to read statewide. However, I move that we hold the request for exemption to Regulation 103-153.1 regarding vehicle ID markings and abeyance, and request that the Office of Regulatory Staff review this matter and comment on it by June 17th, 2020. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belser.
I agree with the first part of Commissioner Howard's motion to grant the amended scope of authority. However, I will be voting no on this matter since it's a combined motion. The placarding is in our regulations, and I think that public safety, the safety of the public is certainly paramount for public interest. And I think if, I just can't see removing the placarding from a lot of these vehicles, so I will be voting no for that reason.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Urban. I agree with Commissioner Belcher that I'll be voting no for that reason as well. I think the placard should be on the outside of the vehicle.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Urban. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, may I address the
Yes, sir.
chair?
Mr. Butler.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to clarify, please, with Commissioner Howard. Did he say July 17th is going to be the due date on any comments that might be raised on this subject?
No, Mr. Butler, what I did say was offer regulatory staff to review the request and get back to us with their recommendations by July the 17th.
Yeah.
In the application,
Yes.
they were very vague of why they wanted to be exempt from placarding. They didn't give any reason. So consequently, in the past, we have allowed people not to be exempt from the placarding requirements. However, in those cases, they gave some reason why. So that's why I just wanted ORS to review the situation, come back up, see if they can have a reason why this particular customer wants to be exempt from the placarding requirement. According to their application, I personally don't see it, but that's why I asked ORS to review it.
Thank you, Commissioner Howard, for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Thank you, Commissioner Howard. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Whitfield.
Yes, sir.
I share Commissioner Belcher and Commissioner Urban's concerns about the placarding. However, I would concur with Commissioner Howard. There have been certain circumstances where explicit reasons were given, where they were granted an exemption. So I'm going to support Commissioner Howard's motion and review and reserve my right. I assume we're going to be revisiting this once ORS weighs in on or before July 17th. And depending, I'm going to say, like Commissioner Howard, depending on what ORS finds or what reasoning comes back, at that time I would since we're holding this in abeyance, I would weigh in on that part of his motion at that time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Whitfield. Any other comments before we?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hamilton.
Commissioner Hamilton. Mr. Chairman, from the situation that we appear to be in at this time, and ORS will be running an inspection on and review of this for July the 17th. If Mr. Howard would accept, I'd offer a substitute motion that we withhold our vote until the time that we have the report from ORS.
Okay. Commissioner Belcher, you were about to make a comment?
I was just going to comment that I'm just taking a position that I'm really not in favor of these exemptions from placarding. It has got to be a really good reason. I don't think the commission is voting on the waiver today. The commission's voting on asking ORS to review that waiver. But I'm just putting out my position that I think it's got to be a very good reason. I think that on some of these vehicles, the placarding is difficult to see anyway. I think I'm just putting that out there. This is not granting the waiver. Commissioner Howard's motion is not granting the waiver. It's asking ORS to look at it. I'm just kind of putting my flag out there saying, this is where I am. It's going to have to be something pretty big for me to change my mind. I'm just letting y'all know my position. So I don't, you know, if you want to wait and see what ORS comes back with, that's perfectly fine, as Commissioner Whitfield said. So I don't know that, I really am just letting y'all know what my position is. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you. Yes, sir. Commissioner, is this Commissioner Whitfield?
yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, a point of order. As Commissioner Belcher stated earlier, could we not approve the first part of Commissioner Howard's motion, the part granting the amended Class C certificate to read statewide? Could we not at least grant that portion of his motion today, and then, as the latter part of his motion says, hold that second part in abeyance until we get the information back from ORS on July 17th?
Mr. Chairman, if I may comment, if you hold the second part of the motion in abeyance, then you're not asking ORS to do a report. So,
Well, the motion was to hold it in abeyance and request the ORS to review the matter and
Right.
comment.
okay.
So
That's the way I understood his motion.
that was how the motion read. So if we do the original motion, we can vote on granting statewide and then coming back to the vehicle ID markings. Now that would require, I think, Commissioner Hamilton, you had put in a substitute motion. If you want to continue with that or withdraw that, we can vote on the original motion.
With that understanding, even though we don't normally do things part of it and part later, I will withdraw, if that's the feeling of the commission, I'll withdraw my substitute motion.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Hamilton. Okay, so anything else, or are we ready to vote on the original motion? One vote. We'll do one vote because it's in two parts. It addresses both parts. The motion addresses the passing of letting them amend the certificate to read statewide, but also waiting for a report on the placarding, and that's included all in the one motion. So I think I heard Commissioner Irvin.
Yes, sir. Since there's so much confusion surrounding the way this is worded, I'd like to move that we carry this matter over until after July the 17th, 2020, and give ORS a chance to fully investigate the reasons and report back to us. We can take it up at that time.
Any comments on that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Howard.
Thank you, Commissioner Howard.
My only opposition to that is we're waiting a month for them to have statewide authority. We should go ahead and grant them the statewide authority now, because that's not an issue we're discussing. I don't think anyone would have a problem granting statewide authority. They just have to grant statewide authority with the placards as they do now. Then we could take up the other half and wait July the 17th. But I hate to keep them a month waiting to continue that statewide authority.
Okay, Commissioner Irvin, you want to respond, or I mean, is that?
Well, why don't we amend the motion, the recommendation, if Commissioner Howard would agree, I would go along with granting the request for statewide authority with the understanding that they will continue to use their placard until we hear from ORS.
Well,
I have no problem with that. I guess.
Yeah, and that's basically what the motion says. I mean, the motion says that we'll hold in abeyance any allowance of non-placarding until we've had a report and decided on that. So, okay, is everybody okay with then voting on the original motion? Okay. If so, Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belcher.
No.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
No.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item number 3, docket number 2018-215T. We have a request for reinstatement.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
I move that the commission grant the request of Beacon of Hope LLC for reinstatement of Class C non-emergency certificate number 9373, subject to compliance with all applicable commission rules and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belzer's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, Commissioner Whitfield.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Aye.
Commissioner Belzer.
Aye.
And I vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you.
Chairman, that concludes today's agenda.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before us today from anyone? If not, thank you all. It's good to see everybody in your little boxes on the screen and to hear everybody's voice. So, and if we have nothing else to come before us, we are adjourned. Thank you.